Okay.
Oh, you have such a nice smile. I like, and you said Hare Krishna, didn't you?
Well,
Did you say Hare Krishna? And who is that very nice looking person with you that you're holding?
It's a toy.
It looks like a demigoddess.
so Krishna, you can tell Narayan Prabhu, who's the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
You.
I'm not a Supreme Personality. Why are you joking? Come on, tell Narayan Prabhu, who's the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Me?
Bata? Who is it, Bata? Tell.
I want to get him out. Just stop it.
Okay. You're the boss.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Lord Sri Krishna.
Yeah, no.
You know? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm thinking
you
Krishna everywhere.
Yeah. It's actually Sri Radha and Krishna.
Oh, you know about Radha and Krishna? Who's Radha?
Radha is Krishna's best friend.
Best friend?
Yeah, very
Yeah. It's so nice to have you on this call.
And
Brenda
who's,
Devi.
and who's Nishingadev?
Nrsimhadev is a lion and a god.
In the God? Is he Supreme Personality of Godhead?
And yeah, so he's a form of Krishna to Krishna, to Vishnu, to Ram, and to Sita. Sita's a what?
Sita's the wife of who?
Ram. And second time turns to Kaki.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Remember? When we not here, some bad people.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kalki's gonna come in?
and kill him.
Kill him, okay.
Who's coming in?
All right.
Hey.
Who's coming? Kalki is coming soon?
Yeah. Then after that means we go to Krishna and pray to him. And the God say you reading the Bhagavad-Gita and Krishna's stories. I read a lot.
You like those Krishna stories?
Yeah, games.
And games? Try. Which one's your favorite pastime in Krishna book? Tell.
You already know.
You tell Prabhu's here. Tell.
Agasura.
Agasura? Why Agasura is your favorite pastime?
You know.
Agasura?
Yes, Agasura. You tell Prabhu's here. They don't know, so they can know.
Because his friend got slapped and he's not going to save him. God blame and have his fears. And it's the Agasura and that's it.
Where did the children go in Agasura's where?
Mouth.
In the mouth?
Because Agasura wanted to eat Krishna and his brother.
And his brother? Agasura wanted to eat them?
Yeah, because he's a god. And his Sheshnag.
Sheshanag? Oh, okay. Who's Sheshanag?
His Balaram.
Balaram. Okay, wow.
His brother.
Try.
First class, Brenda Devi. You're becoming the teacher. You'll be at the rate you're going. You can teach all of us all about Krishna, but more importantly, teach everyone that hasn't heard about Krishna all about Krishna, and that they will become just like us. They will go back to Godhead.
Right.
Okay.
Eventually, we're already back to Godhead if we chant Hare Krishna, but we'll go back to Godhead when our bodies get old. Assuming that happens, of course.
Okay, Brenda, you're done here at saying hi to all the devotees. Now you're gonna go play.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, Kardo.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
All the Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Okay, we get our program going now.
My God, she's made so much advancement in 1 week.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, she was here for the New Year's. We celebrated New Year's and then a little bit of the Christmas.
Oh.
Okay, let's get this paused here. let me get the documents going, and then we'll start the recording and live again. So we're live right now. So if anyone is watching our program, if they want to join live, please join the WhatsApp group in the description, or just post a message and I'll give you the link. So now, nine people were discussing about Bhaktivinoda Thakur's quote, right?
Yeah.
That we were discussing. We'll get that going here. Okay. You made a very profound point today. We were discussing on the phone that Prabhupada is speaking from the Uttam Adhikari stage, and we are speaking what Prabhupada is speaking, but our speaking and Prabhupada's speaking is totally different. You know, the consciousness, the mood, everything is totally different. So
we cannot suppose or pretend that we can be we can succeed Prabhupada.
yeah.
He cannot be succeeded except by an Uttama Adhikari. Like Bhaktisiddhanta, he succeeded Bhaktisiddhanta.
Okay.
So no one can succeed Prabhupada. If they think they can, they are like a drowning man clutching at straws. Did you know that drowning men do clutch at straws?
And it does not work, right?
Well, it works in that they get a fistful of straws in each hand. You know what happened? As Jaggarani was painting that picture of Lord Nrsingadev, that famous painting.
Oh, yes, yes. Half man, half lion. Yes, yes.
Well, of course, but I mean, there's many such pictures, but the one she made was extra gruesome. And she wanted to make Hiranyakashipu look totally murdered, you know, his expression on the face and everything. And so what she did was she looked through all sorts of books on murders and deaths and stuff like that to see what people looked like. And she came across a picture of a guy who was sort of chubby, but he became a bloated corpse. And he had been fished out of the lake, I think. And both hands he had been reaching out and grabbing at anything, right? So he ended up with 2 bunches of straws in his one in each hand.
Okay.
So it's not just a metaphor or a saying.
Wow.
It's what people do. And can you imagine if you were in the water, you're reaching out looking for a tree branch, looking for a piece of wood, looking for a milk bottle, anything floating, you know? But you don't get it. You just get straws. So you keep on grabbing them because that's your instinct to grab what you can. Anyhow, so that ties in with Brinda's recitation of the qualities of Lord Nrsingadev. Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We were discussing about this here. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Okay, here it is, Prabhu. Okay. A fascinating statement by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He clarifies cultural religion from actual spiritual practice. Okay. Should we start reading this now, Prabhu? We can get going.
Sure.
Okay. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes.
Why not do a little explanation about it first, so people know what they're hearing about?
Okay, so this is from an excerpt from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book. What was it? Krishna. Let me give the exact links so people can see here. 1 second here.
Hi, you were just getting started and I interrupted you. I apologize.
It's okay, Prabhu. That's a good source. We got to give them where the source is coming from. Okay. Here it is. It is from Sri Krishna Samhita. This was found on the Sampradaya Sun's website. And the title of the article is Non-Sectarian Vaishnava Dharma. Okay. All right. Let me get this going again. So, Rupa Manjari Prabhu, can you comment if you want to speak, you can comment also as we read. So we'd like to hear from all the participants here. We have three, Narayan Prabhu, yourself, and myself. So sectarianism is...
Sectarianism.
Yes, please. Can you read, Prabhu?
Sure. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, sectarianism is a natural byproduct of the absolute truth. When acharyas first ascertain and instruct the truth, it is not polluted with sectarianism. Sectarianism, as a side note, is when a group of people splits off into different sects or groups. So sectarianism means like partisanship, basically. But the rules and regulations received through disciplic succession regarding the goal and the method of achieving it are changed in due course of time according to the mentality and locale of the people. A rule that is followed by one society is not necessarily accepted in another society. That is why one community is different from another. As a community gradually develops more respect for its own standards, it develops hatred towards other communities and considers their standards inferior. These sectarian symptoms are seen in all countries since time immemorial. This is prominent amongst neophytes and found to some extent amongst Madhyamadikaris. Amongst Uttama Adhikaris, however, there is no trace of sectarianism. Adherence to a particular standard is the prominent symptom of a society. There are three types of standards: Alochakagata, Alochanagata, and Alochagata. Alochakagata is when sectarianists accept some external signs. Examples of Alochakagata are tilak, neck beads, saffron robes, and the baptism that is practiced abroad. The different activities practiced in the process of worship are called Alochanagata. Examples of Alochanagata are sacrifices, austerities, fire sacrifices, vows, studying scriptures, deity worship, constructing temples, respecting the purity of various trees and rivers, dressing like sannyasis, acting like acharyas, dressing like brahmacharis or grihastas, closing one's eyes, respecting particular types of books, rules and regulations in eating, and respecting the purity of particular times and places.
Pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Blood-curdling, I should say.
The examples of Alochagata are attributing personalism or impersonalism on the Supreme Lord, installing deities, exhibiting the mood of an incarnation of the Lord, speculating on heaven and hell, and describing the future destination of the soul. The different forms of these spiritual activities create divisions of sectarianism. Differences that arise from places, times, languages, behaviors, foods, dresses, and natures of various communities are incorporated within people's spiritual practices and gradually make one community so completely different from another community that even the consideration that everyone is a human being may cease to exist. Due to these differences, there is disagreement, cessation of social intercourse, and fighting even up to the point of killing one another. When an ass-like mentality becomes prominent within the Kanistha Adhikaris, they certainly indulge in these things. But if they develop a swan-like mentality, then they do not take part in quarrels, Rather, they endeavor to attain a higher level. Madhyamadikaris do not quarrel so much about external standards, but they are always attacked by philosophical disagreements. Sometimes they condemn the standards as superior. They condemn the neophytes' deity worship in order to establish the worshipable Lord as formless. In such cases, they are also considered ass-like people. Otherwise, if they had a swan-like mentality and a desire to attain a higher level, they would respect others' practices and inquire about higher topics. Okay, Ramachandra, you want to read?
Okay. Yeah, contradictions actually arise only due to ass-like mentality. Swan-like persons consider the necessity for different practices to one's qualification, so they are naturally detached from sectarian quarrels. In this regard, it should be understood that both ass-like and swan-like people are found amongst the Kanishta Adhikaris and Madhyam Adhikaris. Okay, 1 second, Prabhu. One quick note, we have Kaushal Prabhu joining us live. He's Kaushal Prabhu.
Oh, nice.
Jai Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining, Prabhu. You haven't joined in a long time, so welcome.
Thank you very much.
Jai. All right, let me go back to this. Okay. Now let's, Rupa, thank you for reading, Prabhu. Excellent. So we're gonna analyze some of the statements here, Prabhu, right? Narayana Prabhu, with the
Good
devotees.
idea. You want to go back to the top?
Yeah, the
to
first.
top?
Yes, sectarianism is a natural byproduct of the absolute truth. When acharyas first ascertain this and instruct the truth, yeah, it is not polluted with sectarianism. So how can we see that in our International Society for Krishna Consciousness started by Srila Prabhupada?
Well, it's very easy because he says sectarian is this is interesting because he doesn't make a distinction between spiritual and material, but he says sectarianism, which is largely material, is a natural byproduct of the absolute truth. Well, it's not so much like Krishna and Maya or material, spiritual and material. It is that the sectarian people are on the spiritual path. But what they do is a byproduct. While acharyas first ascertain and instruct the truth, it is not polluted by sectarianism. So we're saying that when Prabhupada speaks, it's not polluted by sectarianism. But when it's heard by anybody that's not Prabhupada or not a pure devotee, Uddhava Adhikari, they will hear it in their cultural, mental, psychological, previous life contextual way of hearing. They're going to hear it the way they hear it. Now, everybody in ISKCON that was not born in ISKCON came from a material platform background. Nobody was born as a Brahmin or Brahmachari or anything like that. We're all, so when we see that, then we understand that whatever is being heard by the person listening to Prabhupada is the next stage, as you'll see as the text goes on, is automatically transformed into a homogenized process that is not the same thing as the words of the acharya who spoke it.
So
okay.
Can you give a quick example of that in 2 or 3 sentences without going into a long dissertation about it?
Where in ISKCON?
Yes.
It's all of us, every single person. Whoever is not Prabhupada is not an Uttamadhikari. Therefore,
Okay.
we all hear with our own historic, family, cultural, previous religious, philosophical, educational slant. We hear it from a point of view. So Prabhupada continuously spoke with so many professors and people, all sorts of people, what to speak of his own disciples. He spoke to so many people, but they all did the same thing, and I did too. We all did too. And that is, we understood it from the point of view that we could understand, not one that was 100,000 times beyond our ability to understand. You see, the pure devotee, the Uttamadhikari, speaks from the spiritual platform. So unless we're on the spiritual platform, not on the same level as Prabhupada, it's just like supposing he's a older godbrother in older cowherd boy and we're younger cowherd boys, and he's explaining in Krishna Loka, we can listen to him and learn and become part of it as younger. So it's not that we're prohibited, but in Krishna Loka, everyone will be considering everything from the absolute platform, Uttamadhikari platform, which means real communication is going to take place. But in the material world, no. So if you go into an ISKCON temple or anything like that, if you go to an ISKCON temple and you listen to Prabhupada and you follow the instructions to worship the deity, etc., you can see the lists are there. You wear tilak, you have japa beads, you wear saffron cloth. These things are all external forms which are authorized for us to use. But when you start trying to make it into something like, oh, now I'm on the same level as Prabhupada, that is when it becomes totally polluted, and the mentality is referred to later on in this passageway as ass-like.
So I'd like to bring this note here to this point here, polluted with sectarianism. Oh, how is ISKCON polluted with sectarianism? Because of the insufficient gurus? Because each insufficient guru brings a flavor of his own background, culture,
but the
understanding.
sectarianism becomes anyone who hears Prabhupada and gangs up with other people who listen to Prabhupada, like us right here, we will create sectarianism. What is that? It's our point of view, our collective. What is sectarianism? It's our joint or collective point of view, right?
Yes.
So what we've agreed upon, which is one of the functions of ISKCON, is to agree, but also to agree as close as possible to the spiritual platform. That's what ISKCON is all about. So polluted by sectarianism cannot be avoided. But what can be avoided is saying that the polluted sectarianism is bona fide. We can say only Prabhupada is bona fide. And what we hear from Prabhupada, of course, Shravanam Kirtanam, we can repeat, hear and repeat, hear and repeat. Will that be polluted? Of course, that's what his whole main point is. The minute that the sectarian is a natural byproduct of the absolute truth. So if that's the case, the absolute truth, Prabhupada is delivering, right? We have no, and Bhaktivinoda is, and Dr. Saranta, Gorka, delivering the absolute truth. So they are, right? They're delivering the absolute truth. And when they first ascertain and instruct the truth, it is not polluted with sectarianism. In other words, everything they say is as good as Krishna speaking himself. But then it says, but by the rules and regulations received through the subject succession regarding the goal, the method of achieving, are changed in the course of time according to the mentality and locale of the people. People just make things more familiar to themselves, right?
Right.
If you have a bunch of people, your family members, or like Thanksgiving or something, they're all sitting around the dinner table and they're talking, they're constantly adjusting their speech to each other, right?
Yeah, right. That's a very good point.
Not, they might, as Arjuna Thakur points out, they might end up in a bloody fight. But essentially, when people get into a room like a party or a gathering or religious thing, or go to a church, they're trying to get into the same wavelength, right? But the thing is, the wavelength is produced by the people that are in it. If you go to a church, there's every sort of person there. I mean, not every sort, they're all Baptists or they're all Catholics or something. But when you go to the church, they are all of a similar mind. So when they talk to each other, they start to assume things about what they and each other believe, which is what we call in ISKCON bona fide. The very fact we're saying bona fide means we recognize that the vast majority of our understanding is not bona fide. It can only be bona fide when heard from Srila Prabhupada. Okay?
You're saying a vast number of the stuff that we understand is not bona fide. So,
what's not bona fide?
You said a vast number of things we
yeah,
hear
because anything we say is really our. Well, Prabhupada put it succinctly. So many things I've said, I have not said. So people just take what they think is the truth and elaborate on it themselves.
Okay.
And we can say that's their realization, but at the same time, Thakur Bhaktivinoda would say that is their sectarianism.
We have a question from Sasi Kumar. Prabhu, you have a question. You can unmute yourself and ask. Prabhu, go ahead. Or you want to make a point?
Happy Krishna consciousness, Niyara Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Is there any difference from Krishna consciousness and Krishna consciousness, or both same?
What? What's your question? Is the difference between Krishna consciousness and what?
Yeah. Is there any difference between Krishna consciousness and Krishna consciousness, or both are one and the same?
Christ consciousness. You're talking about Christ consciousness.
Yeah, Christ consciousness. Is it different from Krishna consciousness?
Oh, he's asking. Narayan, Prabhu, do you understand the question? He's asking about what's the difference between Christ.
What's the difference between Krishna consciousness and Christ consciousness? Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, that's very easy to determine. If you believe in Christ and you die, they say you'll die, you'll go to heaven. Well, that's fine and dandy. The question is, where is heaven? For Christianity, according to Prabhupada, the Christian heaven is called Swargaloka, the planet of the avatars. And when you go to Swargaloka, it's in the material universe, in the suburbs of Brahmaloka, somewhere floating around Brahmaloka. There's angels with wings. There's delicious things to eat. There's sweet pastimes. It's very heavenly. It's heavenly. It's one of the top heavenly planets. I mean, Indraloka is in the top heavenly planet because everybody there has got a huge material agenda that they're busy working on, you know, growth and ideas and stuff like that. But when you go to Swargaloka, it is all heavenly, but it's not Krishna Loka. It's in the material world. So Christianity cannot take you beyond the material world.
Yeah. So you mean Christian heaven is different from in.
They talk that they can, but there's nothing in the Bible. Jesus never talked about where people will go when they die. He made some general references. He said, my Father's house has many mansions. Mansions meaning, you know, gorgeous aspects, many palatial aspects. But you are not ready to hear about them yet, he told his disciples. So we don't know what he was talking about. According to Prabhupada, he was talking about Swargaloka in the material universe. Very top planets in the material universe. Go ahead, Prabhu, you were saying? You were saying again something?
Sasi Kumar, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Is Christian heaven and Hindu heaven different, or both are same? Or is Christian heaven same as Indra's heaven?
Can you translate for me? Tell me, I'm sorry. Can you tell me, Ramachandra? I didn't quite understand.
Krishna heaven and Indra heaven. And what else, Sasi Kumar? And
Yeah, are these same or different? Or Christian heaven is same as Indra's heaven or not?
Krishna's heaven and Indra's heaven, is it the same or not?
Totally different, because Indra isn't in Swargaloka.
Yeah. As we say, yeah, say Prabhu, you continue.
Yeah. So the thing to really ask, I think, is the Christian heaven the same as Krishna Loka, Krishna's planet, or Vishnu Loka? And the answer is no. There's nothing spiritual about the Christian sense of heaven. It's a place where you go when you've been very, very good, and you're rewarded by being in the very best place in the material world, in the material universe. Take into account there's hundreds and millions of universes. The scientists can't even figure out the one we're in. They should just read the Brahma Samhita, then they wouldn't be able to get any PhDs, and they wouldn't be able to get any
it is Brahma
grants to
Samhita.
study in college. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but they don't ask.
Prabhuji,
They speculate.
that as we in Bhavishyottara,
What is the book you have there?
yeah, it is Brahma Samhita.
Brahma Samhita. Well, that will tell you everything about the material universe.
What language is it in? That book you have, what language is it in?
It's in English, Prabhu.
Oh, who is it? Who's the author of it? Who's the author of that book?
In English, Prabhu.
No, I know who translated it. Sorry. Who translated it?
It is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura Goswami Maharaja,
Okay.
spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, that's good.
It's the original one.
Okay, that's what we want to confirm that.
Yeah.
Okay, try.
Prabhu, in Bhavishyottara Purana,
Yes.
in Bhavishyottara Purana, it also mentions biblical history. Means some histories of Bible also Bhavishyottara Purana does mention. Like it.
Yes. Go ahead.
Lord Vishnu wanted to create the milleters, means who are not Indians. Also, Lord Vishnu wanted to create the milleters, so he created milleters from Adam and Eve. So it also mentions Adam and Eve, which are milleters. So, and it is also said in the Bhavishyottara Purana, Adam worshipped Vishnu. It is mentioned in the Bhavishyottara Purana. So according to Bible, Adam worshipped Yahweh. So on seeing both, we can conclude that Yahweh is not different from the Lord Vishnu. So if Christianity says that the heaven of Christianity is abode of Yahweh, then it will be Vishnu's abode, right? Means Vaikuntha will be, right?
Do you know?
I read it in the Bhavishyottara Purana.
Can you answer that?
Yeah, see, when we discuss these things, we want to get quotations from Srila Prabhupada, If you have quotations where it's coming from Srila Prabhupada's translation, his commentary, or his books, then we can have a discussion. But these other Puranas which you're mentioning, Prabhupada did not translate, so we cannot comment on that aspect of that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? We're not going to speak about something that the Guru has not talked about.
No, it is not just Guru
But
meaning our
Bhavishyottara
Guru. It is that we recognize that Prabhupada is directly connected with Krishna through the Sampradaya, or the line of the Sampradaya.
So we can. So there is
all the way to Krishna Loka. So that's why we accept what he says, because it's descended knowledge, not speculative knowledge, not cultural knowledge, not things your grandmother said.
Prabhu, there is no fault in talking about Bhavishyottara Purana, since even Srila Prabhupada comes in the Brahma Sampradaya, right? So Vyasa also comes. Brahma said, gave the knowledge to Narada. Vishnu gave knowledge to Brahma. Brahma gave knowledge to Narada. Narada gave knowledge to Vyasa. So Veda Vyasa, right? Veda Vyasa, who is Acharya in the Brahma Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, wrote Bhavishyottara Purana, right? So we can talk about Bhavishyottara Purana. See, Srila Prabhupada comes in the same Sampradaya.
Yeah, you want to have discussion about topics that Prabhupada has not talked about. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
No, he's talking about the
It is his guru, right?
our Sampradaya, no?
oh, okay. So that book was written by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur?
No, Veda Vyasa. Srila Veda
Oh, no,
Vyasa.
yes, the translation work. Who did the translation work?
That I don't know, Prabhu.
I read.
But of course, they translate right only. There will be little variation. Adam cannot be some other name, right?
So no, that's the difficulty, because you're saying that, but we don't have any Prabhupada reference. You know,
He's referring to Adam and Eve.
We want references from.
Purana mentions it.
Okay.
Well, this Prabhu is very intelligent. He's very intelligent, very capable mentality. But we have to remember that we are accepting from the Sampradaya, and everything that Prabhupada wrote, you can trust that to tell you the truth. He wasn't trying to puff himself up to be a big Maharishi sort of yogi or something of that sort. He was simply translating the supreme absolute truth. I used to watch him translate, and he would translate, he would be in a trance as he was translating. So he didn't know I was watching. I was sort of watching secretly, or so I was thinking. So he would translate, and that means he is channeling Krishna. He is speaking, Krishna is speaking through him. That's the way to understand from his point of view. But also, he never adds or subtracts to the existing shastras. So there's so many fascinating books in India, and there's just tons of them. You happen to have gotten a really good one, the Brahma Samhita. If you read it, you will learn everything that you need to know about the universe.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes,
and
it's really wonderful.
If you read the book of Genesis in the Christian Bible, the Brahma Samhita describes everything that the book of Genesis in the Bible is stumbling around in the dark. They don't know what they're talking about. In the whole Christian Bible, there's millions of Christians, or billions, to a couple of billion Christians. And they don't know what they're talking about. If they want to know what they're talking about, they should come to you and say, do you mind if we look over your shoulder while you're reading the Brahma Samhita? We want to understand the real source of life as stated in the Bible, not the mess that they made out of it when they borrowed from the Brahma Samhita, but did not have the complete text used.
I have a question for Sasi Kumar Prabhu. Prabhu, you're trying to understand these things. What's your point in trying to understand it? Are you preaching to Christians, or is it just an intellectual thing that you're trying to harmonize, or what are you? What's the end?
Actually, I preach
whenever Christianity has any tie with Vaishnava.
I have a Christian friends and a Muslim Islam friends. I use it to preach everything. Like what I have learned from the Srila Prabhupada's books, I use it to say those things. So even what Muhammad Paigambar saying that Srila Prabhupada says, even Srila Prabhupada said Muhammad Paigambar as a bona fide guru. Even Prabhupada says Jesus Christ is the guru. And what he said, and thou shalt not kill. That Srila Prabhupada stressed that statement given by the Jesus Christ. Everything I will be saying that, yes, I used to chant even in the college when I get free. So I have to complete the rounds for it. So whenever I was chanting, my friends observed it. And they asked me a question, how many rounds you chant? I said, for now I'm chanting around 5 to 6 rounds, but I have to chant 15 rounds. I have to improve that. Then they said, you will chant for 15 rounds. Do any people chant more than that? I said, there was a person, Haridas Thakur, he was chanting for 3 lakh times. When I said that, he shocked and he said, there is not even 1 lakh seconds in the day. How can a person can chant 3 lakh rounds, 3 lakh times? I did not have an answer to tell him. So could you please give any words that I can say him and convince about it?
That's great. You're very intelligent, intellectual. Are you in school? Or
Yeah, I'm called BSc.
Which?
I study BSc degree.
Oh, you have a degree.
Yeah.
How many degrees?
Yeah, it's now I'm studying first year degree.
A first year degree. I can't
Yes,
quite
Prabhu.
understand. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to misunderstand you. Anyhow, so you're very intelligent. But the thing is, in the end, intelligence has to come down to absolute simplicity. And simplicity, you may say, Prabhupada. Well, you say, well, that's just one of so many gurus. There's millions of gurus everywhere. Why Prabhupada?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
people will think like that. The question is, you have to look at what is being delivered, how is it being delivered, and where is it coming from? When you
Yes.
see the Sampradaya, this Sampradaya coming from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaurkishore Das Babaji, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada, he published so many books. The Upanishad, Bhagavad-Gita as it is, the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you read nothing but those books, you don't need to read anything about those books. You'll find out everything to do with why we're chanting Hare Krishna, and you're going to find out everything to do with how did Krishna appear in Bengal, in Navadvip? How did he appear? How did he appear 550 years ago? You know, and what is the significance? He is the Yuga avatar. We understand him to be the Yuga avatar, which means he's replaced all other religions, including all Hinduism. And what is the purpose of that? Because he said you don't need it. In the next, for the 10,000 years of the golden age of Kali, all you need to do is to chant the Hare Krishna mantra.
Yes.
That's all. So what is the philosophy for, the books for, the education for? Simply to understand why you need to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. But if you want the result, the result is built into the chanting itself.
Yes.
You see. Now, I would like to ask you a simple question. Is that okay?
Ask Prabhu.
Do you consider that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead in Krishna Loka, and that there is no energy or personality higher or equal to him?
Yes, he is the supreme person. He is beyond both fallible and infallible, both in the world and in the Vedas. I am celebrated as the supreme person. That is what he said in the Purushottama Yoga.
Yep. A lot of Hindus, which are way beyond Hindu, but there's a lot of Hindus that think that there's all the forms of God, including Durga and Shiva and Vishnu and everyone and Krishna, and that they're all equal, and that there's a higher force above all of them, all we do is worship Krishna because we like to. We worship Krishna, Vishnu, equal results, but we like to, or Durga, we like to. That is not bona fide from our point of view, right? Or do you accept that?
Yes.
That there's
no, I don't accept. Krishna is only the Supreme Lord.
Oh yeah, yes, exactly. So once you understand Krishna is the Supreme Lord,
I got the enemies because of saying that only.
Have you read the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yeah, I have read the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. There says, right, Vishnu is the Lord of goodness, so Lord of goodness must be worshipped on it all.
Yeah, so that's Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, right?
Yes, Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam only. I have.
Okay, good. Then you're on the right track, because we're discovering that so many people.
Okay, Jai.
Hare Krishna. We're discovering that so many people that are Hindus, they don't even believe that Krishna is the supreme being. They just come to the Krishna temples because they're nice and fun to go to.
Prabhu, the people live about Krishna as God or not. Even they don't consider Krishna the person who lived 5,000 years ago. They say that is a myth, is a fake, false character. It is just a fictional story. They say that. What to speak of them? They don't even consider Krishna as a original person. They consider the Krishna as a myth character. It is just a oral person. It was not. It never existed like that. The people of India only say.
So they're in trouble, would you say?
Yeah, of course. I use.
Yeah, well, good. No, I'm like a doctor. I was taking your pulse to, to see what your pulse is telling me, or like Ayurvedic doctor, you take the pulse. So,
Yes.
so I'm very convinced now that you're very intelligent and you know the truth. See, you don't have to know very much to know the truth. If you just chant Hare Krishna, you know the truth. Then if you read, then you know why. When you read the books, then you know why you chant Hare Krishna. That's the only reason. Prabhupada said the only reason that he wrote his books is so people would know why they should chant Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just another thing to do and people won't know why they're doing it.
Yeah. Prabhu, that
How
day you
old are you,
suggested me
Prabhu?
to buy Nectar of Devotion. It's 18 years.
You're 18. You're 18 years old. Ah, very good. Jai.
18 years old.
Yes,
I thought you were probably
Prabhu, that day
29
you
years
suggested me
old.
to buy Nectar of Devotion.
You're
No,
not
Prabhu,
18 years.
I'm
You're
still
18
young.
years
And
old.
then all of-
Are you saying you're
Yes,
18
Prabhu.
years old? Impossible.
Yes,
With a
Prabhu.
mustache and beard, 18 years old? Well,
Yes, Prabhu, I'm 18 years. I born in 2003.
He's born in
Well, that's very
2003 and he's
wonderful. That's
18 years
really
old.
wonderful.
Hare
Charlie,
Krishna,
my
Jai.
bless, you have all of us, we are giving you our blessings because you're a very highly intelligent person.
Thank you so
can
much,
end
Prabhu.
up delivering, you alone could deliver the whole world if you put your will and mind and heart into it. You can deliver the whole world because you will not only get people to chant Hare Krishna,
Thank you.
but you'll be able to tell them why they should chant Hare Krishna. You see, telling people why to chant Hare Krishna is convincing. Just telling people to chant has the same effect. You can tell someone chant Hare Krishna and say, okay, Hare Krishna, okay, you're okay, you're going back to Godhead. You just chant once, you go back to Godhead,
Yes.
Not at the end of your birth, but at the end of your material attachment to material bodies. But categorically,
Prabhu, but
the salvation is there just by hearing what to speak of chanting the holy name of Krishna once. So if you're chanting on japa, you've saved yourself 1,000,000 times.
Okay, Prabhu. Prabhu, that day you suggested me to buy a Nectar of Devotion, and I bought it.
Acha, very
You
good.
have
I
the
should
nectar of
read it.
devotion.
That day you suggested me to buy that to know more about Bhakti Yoga. And so 2 weeks back you told me. But I have to read it. Still not started. But looking at this picture, I fall in love. When I close eyes, this picture will appear in my eyes, in my mind. Very beautiful picture of Radha Krishna.
Jai. Excellent, Prabhu. That's very good. You got all of Prabhupada's books. You're reading Prabhupada's books. So if you have questions, you come here or you can contact us on Facebook, on YouTube, or personally message us. So,
Or if we have questions, we'll contact you.
yes, or we have questions, we'll contact you.
You seem to be very well educated, very well read, and very determined. And young enough not to become distracted by Maya.
No, I always, if I think I'm bewildered, I will go to ISKCON. I will do Sankirtana there. I'll be engaging in the Kirtana, I will be chanting Hare Krishna in front of Radha Krishna.
So
Maya, you go now. I mean, ISKCON like that.
My recommendation on Kirtan is learn to chant only from Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Like that. Don't chant. They've made a mess out of it all. Are you getting your books from Bangalore? Not Bangalore. Yeah, Bangalore.
Yeah, Bangalore is
Chai
gone.
Patra? What?
Bangalore.
From who?
Madhu Pandit Prabhu.
Oh, you're connected with Madhu Pandit. He's my beloved godbrother. So you're getting
my
original
home side
books.
is, yeah. And actually I have Srimad Bhagavatam original books only, which is old version. Where Srila Prabhupada's two teachings are there. This is old
Yes,
version,
Madhu Pandit.
not new version.
I was in Bangalore. I was staying with Madhu Pandit at his temple in 2016. January and February 2016.
Sasikumar Prabhu, you send me a message so I can note down your phone number on WhatsApp, okay? You send me a
Okay,
message.
Prabhu.
I'm not sure which one. So I
And
know
you're
who you are.
living, is he living in, Ramachandra, is he living in Mauritius?
No, he's in India.
What part of India?
Bangalore. Bangalore is gone, Karnataka.
Oh, you're in Bangalore. Are you
Yes,
in the
I'm in
temple
Bangalore.
there? Are you in the Madhu Pandit's temple?
No. Actually, their Vaishnava says to stay here only. They are also, they love me so much. They say, Shashi Kumar, you stay here. We will provide whatever you need and all. But since I have my mother, she'll be alone, so I cannot. But whenever I get time, I will be going. Every Saturday I go and engage there in devotional activities.
Do you ever see Madhu Pandit?
I saw Madhu Pandit.
So if you see him again, or when you see him again, tell him Naranarayan Das Vishwakarma offers his prostrated obeisances to Madhu Pandit.
Yeah, okay, Prabhu.
He knows me very well.
Okay, Prabhu. I will say. He's the president of Bangalore ISKCON. It's like we can meet Krishna sometimes, but meeting Madhu Pandit is very big task.
This is amazing. I'm so happy to be blessed by your association here. You see, this is what has happened if you read Prabhupada's original books. If you don't get into that rut that they create when they made the book changes. You're on top of it.
I want to make my home as Prabhupada's library. I want to make my home as Prabhupada's library.
Yeah, very good, Prabhu.
Are you living at your family house or are you living in the temple?
No, I live in my family house with my mother.
Very nice.
Recently, my father went to Vaikuntha. He went to Vaikuntha by listening to Vishnu Sahasranama.
Your father is no longer.
So my mother will be alone.
Your father has passed away?
Yes, he passed away just some months back.
Oh, I offer my condolences. I hope you're able to do a nice Shraddha ceremony. Anyhow, with a son like you, he will go back to Godhead. Was he a Vaishnava also? But he must have passed away. He was very young when he passed away, no?
Actually, he died after reading Bhagavatam. Before he read Bhagavatam. And also, he died while listening to Vishnu Sahasranama.
Joy.
So he passed away listening to Vishnu Sahasranama. Wow, amazing.
Yes.
Joy.
How old was he?
Till that day, yeah, he was 53 years old.
That's very young.
Yeah, he got a cancer. Actually, Krishna helped us in many ways in arranging money and everything. Nobody has helped, only Krishna.
You must be still grieving in your heart to lose your father.
Yeah. Actually, till that day my father lived, Krishna was God for me. But after my father leaving, Krishna became my father. I used to ask, if I want pen, you are my father, you have to give me pen. I have to write something. I have to write something. Krishna became my father till the day. Krishna is no longer God for me. He is my father.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have two brothers. They are not Krishna consciousness. And they live, they don't love us. They have family and they live. They did not come even during my father's cancer time.
Achha.
But
So if I
it's
could
not-
ask one more question, what sort of occupation did your father have? What did he
He was
do?
a tailor. He
A
was
what?
a tailor. Tailor.
Designer?
Tailor. Tailor. Tailor.
I don't know.
Taylor, Narayan, Taylor.
Oh, Taylor. Really? He knew how to make nice clothes. He was making clothes or something else?
Yeah, he was.
How wonderful. But was there anything, why he passed away so soon?
It was cancer for him. He never had any addiction, but I don't know how he got cancer. It was Krishna's mercy, I think. To take my father's cancer was the reason.
I don't understand.
He got cancer.
Oh, cancer, how sad. Well,
But
protect
anyways-
yourself.
Yes. So his father went by listening to Vishnu Sahasranam was going on, right? You said, Sasikumar Prabhu?
So let's all glory
Right.
to your father, to you and your father, and everybody. You have brothers and sister also.
I have two brothers, but they don't believe it because they're not even Krishna's conscious.
Oh, I see. And your mother is okay.
Yeah, she recently lost her mother also. She's in depression. So you get to say what I read in the book, you get to say about Srila Prabhupada and how he lied and everything. You get to make her inspire about Prabhupada and all about Ramanujacharya.
Well, anyhow, you're a blessed person from a blessed family, from a blessed heritage, and you will bless the world. I'm very enthusiastic and happy to have met you.
Okay.
You're going to make a great difference in the planet Earth.
So, Sasikumar, since you're studying Prabhupada's books, use Prabhupada's original books, and then there's a tool called the Bhaktivedanta Database. I'll show you. So you can research these questions and see what you come up with. Yeah, this is what it's called. You see this?
Okay, sir.
You have this program?
No problem.
Yeah, you can search like Krishna. You can search anything. Like, for example, you want to search about Indian culture. Put Indian culture, it comes up 414 times here. So if you have any questions, you can ask and or put keywords, culture, and you'll see how many times culture comes up, 5,701 times. So this is for your Krishna conscious study. You know? I'll send you the link. Message me and I'll send you the link.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm very happy.
Jai Prabhu. Thank you very much for introducing yourself. I think we never
Yeah.
saw you on video. Is this the first time on video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the first time. I was visit
You have a remarkable countenance, and
Right.
we welcome you. Your smile is so nice. Your eyes are so intelligent. I mean, it is like I'm dealing with one of the four Kumaras.
Jai. All right.
They're even elder than Lord Shiva. They're elder brothers of Lord Shiva. Yes, Kumara.
Well, I meant before they got into trouble, right?
Okay. So
Vaikuntha residents, saintly residents of Vaikuntha. That's an amazing encounter.
what's your native language? Hindi or what language do you speak?
Kannada.
Karnataka. Acha. Acha. Kannada. Okay. Okay.
You know, it is a land where Madhvacharya came.
Acha. Madhvacharya. All right.
And you have to
Wonderful.
our family
You know-
name is Ranganatha Swami, and our spiritual master is Sri Ramanujacharya.
Oh, okay. Very good. Jai. So you guys are born in basically Vaishnava culture or Vaishnava families. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before the British came to India or got their death grip on India, every kings, all the kings had, there were like hundreds of kingdoms, and everyone had to basically, there were like 800 different languages.
Yes.
So
Actually,
that
there are
when they got stuck with English, they went to New Delhi, they spoke Hindi, and the Bengalis were ready to leave town. They didn't want anything to do with Hindi. You know, so there's so many, and then you have South Indian languages. There's still probably a couple of dozen of prominent languages, right? I don't know for a fact, but not just Hindi, English, Bengali, Karnataka. Anyhow, that's great.
There are 1,652 languages are in India because we call India as a subcontinent. Means what other nations have, what other nations don't have, everything is India having. Even both the good and the evil.
They have subcontinent because if you go north, it turns into China.
Yes. And actually the problem is that being a Indian, they don't realize Krishna as a god. Actually, in Kerala, there are many Krishna worshippers, but they eat beef. I used to say, Krishna was a Gopal. Why do you eat beef? They say it is our culture. What to speak of them?
Oh.
It's really very sad. And I used to, whenever there is a cow was sailing to the Malaysians, I used to go and stop it. Don't sell cows, otherwise I will complain it to police like that. They say, we'll give bribe to police. What will you do? Like that, they will say.
Sure.
But I try all my best to stop slaughter of cows.
Okay, Jai Prabhu.
Jai.
All right, so we wanted to discuss Bhakti Vinod's paper, but we have come a long way since that. So that's fine. We can continue tomorrow since we have come a little off track. So we can. Kaushal Prabhu. Kaushal Prabhu, do you have any questions, Prabhu, regarding anything, or you want to say anything, Prabhu?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for asking. Actually, 2 days ago, you were talking something about Hinduism, and I just wanted to say something about this. You know, if you can open Srimad Bhagavatam 12.13.15, if possible, please.
1 second. 12, 13, what?
15. Yes.
12, 13, 15. 12,
Yes.
13, 15. Okay.
What is that book?
Srimad
Hold on.
Bhagavatam.
12, 13, 15. Well, this is actually. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Yes, and before that, answering Shashi Kumar Prabhu, you know, he was talking about that Bhavishya Purana, but I don't think we should talk much about that because we all know it's extremely interpolated. Means they have added too many verses, especially during the Muslim rule and the British rule, to say that, oh, your scriptures have got Jesus and all that. So just wanted to say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yes. So
how can we cannot go past the 10th canto, I don't think.
Yeah, this was not written by Prabhupada. Yes.
12.13.15.
5 or 12?
12.13.15.
12. Okay, 1 second. Let me project it on the screen so everyone can see. 1 second.
But I don't know if I'd like Sridananda as the Acharya for this.
Okay, yeah. Narayan Prabhu is saying that verse that you said, 12, 13, 15, is not translated and commented upon by Srila Prabhupada. It was done by one of his disciples who claimed to be his successor.
Yes, that's fine. But
okay, so
yeah.
Well, we can look at it. I've never seen anything from the 12th canto.
Okay, let me load it up, Prabhu. 12, 13, 15.
Srila Prabhupada was bitterly disappointed. He didn't get to finish the Srimad Bhagavatam. That was his vow. He would finish the Srimad Bhagavatam.
12, 13 and 15.
Yeah, 12, 13, 15.
I'm opening here.
Okay, so what do you want to say, Prabhu? We don't have an authorized translation of that on our website that we pull from.
actually that verse is saying this Bhagavatam is coming from the Vedanta. They are actually saying this Bhagavatam is a juice from the what do you call the fruit called Vedanta.
Okay.
So what is this Vedanta? Vedanta is the bedrock of Hinduism. So this Vaishnavism that you are talking is actually a spin-off from Hinduism. Now, if you remove the bedrock of Vedanta, then Vaishnavism cannot exist. That's exactly what they are saying. And of course, you're doing a phenomenal job. But the other day, like 2 days ago, or 2 sessions ago, you were talking, oh, the Hindus do not have a single book. They have multiple books, multiple deities, etc. Now here the verse is clearly saying that it is derived from the Vedanta. So Vedanta is not like one book. Srila Prabhupada, his Divine Grace himself says at least there are 20 books of Vedanta, right? So I think
we're only dealing which one is Prabhupada has translated and commented on, right?
Okay. No.
Showing that picture.
His
Prabhu, I'm showing that page picture.
Yes, I can see it. Yes. Okay, Prabhu. So he's saying he's trying to draw from the word Hinduism, and he's drawing Hinduism to Vedanta. So Vedanta doesn't.
How is that possible? Hindu was created by the Muslims. That's not word Hindu.
Sanatana Dharma. I mean, okay. Sanatana
Yeah. Use the word Sanatana Dharma. Don't use Hindu or Hinduism, because that is not an authorized word.
Yes,
It is a name given to Indian religion that is secondary to Islam, according to the people who gave the name.
Yes,
Okay, so Kaushal Prabhu, can you make your point again? Vedanta, because without Vedanta there won't be Srimad Bhagavatam. Is that what you're saying? Or there won't be no Vaishnava tradition? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. I am not saying that Srimad Bhagavatam verse itself is saying that it is derived from the Vedanta. It is a Vedanta Sara, means it has been derived from the Vedanta. It is saying that. I am not saying. So, just like...
Yeah, it is said there.
Yes.
Srimad Bhagavatam is declared to be the essence of all the Vedanta philosophy. One who has researched.
Yes, please. 1 second, Shashi Prabhu, 1 second. Yes, just like how the Muslims, the Christians were saying, oh, we have a holy book. Similarly, the Hindus, or Sanatana Dharmis, we say we have a holy library. We don't say we have a holy book. For us, our entire library is extremely holy. And even when they say Vedanta, yes, here it is. Thank you, Prabhu, for showing that. Srimad Bhagavatam is declared to be the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. So this is what the translation is saying. So where is this essence drawn from? It is from the Vedanta, right? So if there is no Vedanta, where will you get your Srimad Bhagavatam from? And also very extremely, you please note, at least at 10 places in Srimad Bhagavatam, we see the usage of the word Nirvana. Nirvana is actually a Buddhistic term. So here in Srimad Bhagavatam, they have equated Nirvana and Kaivalya. So this again indicates that this textbook of Srimad Bhagavatam has come in the post-Buddhistic era, not before that. So this is about the evolution. Of course, the Vaishnavas have given a beautiful interpretation for Upanishads. Otherwise, Upanishads were like, you eat meat, you eat whatever you want, you dance around. It was like that. But luckily, Vaishnavas gave it a beautiful interpretation and helped the world understand it better. So that's what I felt.
Ramachandra, where are we and where are we going?
Yeah. Thank you. I made my point.
He wanted to make a comment that the Vedanta, because of the Vedanta, do we have Srimad Bhagavatam?
And why? That is it. How do we know that this comment is authorized?
He's basing his comments on what he has read in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's saying there in the Srimad Bhagavatam that Srimad Bhagavatam is it's saying in that verse 12, 13.
We cannot go by that.
Yeah, that's what he's quoting. I've told him that already.
We don't have any authorized comment. If Prabhupada made a comment, it would be very complete. It would be very accurate. We're talking about a person that didn't even know Sanskrit. He studied it for 2 years in order to edit the books. I was working at the press publishing the Srimad Bhagavatam. I was the art director, and I was designing pictures for the Srimad Bhagavatam. And we were producing 15 paintings per month of very high quality under my direction. And before I was there, they were doing 4 paintings every 2 months. When I finished in 1980, it was 15 paintings every month. And so they finally dissolved the art department because there was nobody to do the translation work into the 10th canto, 11th and 12th canto. There was no one who could do it. So Hridayananda took it upon himself to do it, taught himself Sanskrit in 2 years. He's a very intelligent guy, but 2 years is not much time to become a Sanskrit scholar from zero. And then he took on the 10th, 11th, and 12th cantos. So we don't accept it because I know Hridayananda. In fact, he considers me his partner Pradakshar Guru. That I brought him to Krishna consciousness. And I remember the exact moment he was hitchhiking. We gave him a ride to Berkeley, California. And he was riding in our car and we were brainwashing him. So when he got there to Berkeley, he got out, but then he started to come around to where we were chanting on the streets on Telegraph Avenue in Berkeley. But anyhow, the point being that he has no qualification to write commentary or to describe word meanings in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And as his Vartna Pradakshar Guru, I can tell you that for sure.
Yes, Prabhuji, actually, if you want Prabhupada's reference for the same, you can see something like this, which Prabhupada himself writes. Bhagavad-Gita is the milk taken from the cows called the Vedanta. And Krishna is that milkman who is drawing the milk and is feeding that milk to Arjuna. This is what Srila Prabhupada has himself written. I request.
Where did he say that?
Sorry to interfere. It is Shankaracharya who said.
Yes. Indeed, it is Shankaracharya, and Srila Prabhupada repeats that, right? He did not reject it. Srila Prabhupada refers to
Shankaracharya is an incarnation of Shiva. He's not technically a Vaishnava.
Yes, sir. So if Prabhupada is referring to that, it means Prabhupada is accepting it. He's not.
Where did he refer to it?
I think I have read it in Bhagavad-Gita commentary itself, the purport of Bhagavad-Gita. There, Srila Prabhupada himself refers to this, right? So if there is no cow, if there is no Vedanta, there is no milk, there is no Bhagavad-Gita. So who has offered you the cows? Who has offered you the Vedanta? It is the Hindus, or what you call the Sanatana.
The Bhagavad-Gita, not just the Bhagavad-Gita, but the Mahabharata. And the Bhagavad-Gita is just the 18th chapter of the Mahabharata. And that is that it was written by Vedavyas, and who said, it's written for Stri, Sudra, Dvijabandhu. Stri is women, Sudra, laborers, ignorant laborers, and Dvijabandhu, it means the people that didn't quite make it, didn't pass their bar exams, and they should have become Brahmins. So it's the Bhagavad Gita is for the lower class of men. Unfortunately, nowadays no one can understand it because when the Bhagavad Gita was the Mahabharata was written with the Srimad Bhagavatam, with the Bhagavad Gita in it, people were very intelligent. Now people struggle to understand the Bhagavad Gita as it is they have difficulty in understanding it because their intelligence level has dropped like a stone since 5,000 years ago. So I'm not quite clear where you're getting your references and your points from. If you could give us the quotes from the Bhagavad-Gita and we could read them, that would be helpful.
Maybe Bhakta Singh Prabhu, can you please look into the database you were talking about where these specifics are there, if possible?
Yeah, Prabhu, I can show here. It is not in the commentary. It is in the preface of the Bhagavad Gita. It is not written by Veda. It is the publication which has written. It is said in the Sarvopanishad Bhagavad Gopala Nandara Partho Vasa Sudhir Bhutta Duddham Gita Mritam Mahat.
Yes.
I can show you just a minute.
The preface is by Srila Prabhupada himself, right?
See, it is in the Kannada. You can see no sign of Srila Prabhupada here. Srila Prabhupada's name is not written here. It is just a book publication written there. It
Okay.
is not it not comes in the inside the chapter. It comes in the preface. It is not written by Veda. So it is not written by Prabhupada. It is someone, I think, some disciples or the ISKCON people who wrote it.
No. If you read, preface will always be written by the author. Others cannot write the preface for it. Please.
Even I am also poet. I do write some comedy songs. I have actually preface will be written by someone who read it. The great people who read the book will be written. Those will give the work, some virtue of that book and will say others to read. Like that is the preface. According to many, since I am a poet, I say.
Okay, so I'd like to cut to the chase now. Kaushal Prabhu, you want to make a point that without Vedanta sutras, Vedanta, there won't be no Vaishnavism and there won't be no Srimad Bhagavatam. Is that what you're saying?
There will not be any religion for the Hindus except of the Sanatana Dharma without the bedrock of Vedanta.
When you say Hindus, you're talking about Sanatana Dharma, right?
Sorry, yes, sorry for saying that. Sanatana
Because
Dharma.
Hindu is a big mess. Basically, they're all impersonalists. They believe all gods are the same or one. I've been to so many Hindu temples, they don't make any distinction. Durga, Krishna, Ramachandra, whatever, they all put them in one
That
basket.
is what, today morning we were actually discussing about sectarianism, how spin-offs happen. So this is where it is. From the fundamentals of Vedanta, all these spin-offs have happened, but we all owe our allegiance, our lineage to the Vedanta and nowhere else.
But you've said it is mentioned in the Bhagavad-Gita as it is, correct?
Yes, that's what our Shashi
So why
Kumar
not give us the chapter and verse and we'll pull it up and look at it?
No. Bhagavad-Gita, I mean, Shashi Prabhu just showed it for us. It is written in the preface. So it is authorized by Srila Prabhupada himself. Even if you look into the one published by Srila Prabhupada himself in 1970, you can see the same. I request you.
Ramachandra, can you explain did we find an authorization for the statement?
One second. So what are you saying, that Prabhupada wrote the Gita Mahatmya in the original version of the Gita? No, it's not there in the original 1972 version. It's not there. It was added later after Prabhupada left.
No, because the preface was written by Prabhupada himself, right? Preface did not come after his passing away.
You're talking about that Shloka Sarva Upanishad Gavo?
Yes.
That was not there in the original 1972 Gita. I have it here. It's not.
Yes.
It's not in the 1972 Gita, the big book that Prabhupada originally published in 1972. It's not there in that one.
Well, the Macmillan publishers.
Yes, the Macmillan edition, yes. So,
Okay.
So what does that passage say?
no,
That's controversial.
he's trying to say that without the Vedanta, there won't be any Vaishnavism present. Or
Is that, he's saying that Prabhupada said that?
no, Prabhupada never said that.
Well, why does he say Prabhupada said it?
No, because I read it in the Bhagavad-Gita book from ISKCON. So that's what it means, right?
No, see, you read it from ISKCON, but ISKCON has so many books now that they publish and they add and minus stuff from. So we don't take whatever they have added and minus. We want it original as it is.
They've made a mess out of the books. They keep on changing and then rechanging and then unchanging and
There cannot
going
be
back and forth. As a result, if you go to a school and you've been given the Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad-Gita to read, they can't do it in the same class because it has all sorts of different information in it that each Gita is different than the next one.
Prabhu, Bhakta Singh Prabhu, that's why
They
I should
created a global disaster.
the most
Yes,
authentic
yes, yes.
possible, the most authentic possible stuff I have showed you, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam itself. Srimad Bhagavatam itself is saying who its master is. So at least that we should take into account, right?
Well, which is that a 12th canto?
Yes,
Yes.
12th canto. He's talking about
Well,
12th
how can
canto.
we take into account if Prabhupada didn't translate it? Prabhupada didn't have anything to do with the 11th or 12th canto.
just because of his age, he could not translate, and that does not mean that we should brush aside what truth actually is.
Because
We
of his
have-
age, he died. He went into
Yes, yes.
samadhi.
Yes, I understand that he disappeared.
He disappeared, and he
Yes.
didn't disappear naturally. He was poisoned to death
Yes, of
by,
course.
by the people that are finishing the Bhagavatam.
Yes. See, but what truth actually is, we have to see it face to face. As it is, we have to see. Otherwise, it gives rise to other issues. I think so.
Well, how can you do it? Where are you going to get as it is with this when Prabhupada didn't write? Are you going to say Kridananda as he is, as it is?
No, but at least we can put effort to understand what Vedavyasa himself is trying to say, right? Of course, we may be wrong. We will be wrong, but at least we can make an effort to see what he is trying to say, because his divine grace hasn't offered a
Who's
translation.
he? Prabhupada had nothing to do with it. What?
Yes, because Prabhupada is using Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So we can definitely refer to that book.
Prabhupada translated and wrote commentary even on his deathbed up into the 10th canto.
Okay, that's why
But he didn't do anything in 11th or 12th canto, zero.
Yes. See, another point that's why I'm adding is, in Srimad Bhagavatam, at least at 12 places, you are seeing that Kaivalya and Nirvana has been equated. This word Nirvana will not appear in any of the Vedic textbooks. So this clearly indicates it's a post-Buddhistic era.
So where did the word Nirvana come from?
It is only the Buddhist invention. Buddhist invented that word to stand against.
We know
the
what it
Sanatana.
means. Nir means in Sanskrit, Nir means without, Vana means a form.
Vana means forest.
Forest.
Yes, that's right. Vana is forest, and that word was actually invented by the Buddhists
So,
as an
but
opposition to
Vana
the
may
word.
mean forest, but the word Vani doesn't mean forest.
Yes, because the Sanatana Dharma was talking about all Atman, Brahman, and all that. These Buddhists wanted to stand out from this crowd in India. So they invented this word Nirvana, and they tried to popularize it. And
The
then,
Buddhists did. You're saying the Buddhists did that?
yes, it is the Buddhistic word. It is not the word from Sanatana
well,
Dharma.
yes, because the Vaishnava has no concept of nirvana.
Yes, that's why I'm saying in Srimad
Because
Bhagavatam.
nirvana essentially means formless, without form.
Yeah. Okay, so one second, devotees. Vinayak Prabhu wants to say something. Vinayak Prabhu, go ahead.
No, Prabhu, like not in this context. Just if it is okay, can I ask some question?
One second. We want to complete this discussion with Kaushal Prabhu, and then we're gonna get to you. Give us about 5 minutes. Krishna Prabhu, I'm trying to end your question. Can you make the point? And we're gonna go to Vinayak Prabhu. So you're talking about Nirvana, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Vedanta Sutra. So can you give a summary comment, and then we're gonna move on.
With
Yes,
with
yes,
the
that's what I'm
sources,
trying-
Yes.
the chapter and verse quotes.
Yes, that I have indicated. Srimad Bhagavatam is only a consequence. It's in the post Vedantic era. It's in the
Okay.
post Buddhistic era. So that's
What?
why I'm saying if we cannot, if we do not respect the
Wait.
foundation on which it is standing, right?
Post
Post
Lord Buddha, the Srimad Bhagavatam was written 5,000 years ago. Buddha
No.
appeared much less than that.
No, because the usage of the word nirvana, not just usage, they are actually equating it. They are
So who
equating
has put the word nirvana?
still this way. When Bhagavatam was being written, the author as himself equated it, and Srila Prabhupada himself has
Are you saying
commented on
Veda
this.
Vyas put the word nirvana?
Yes.
What is your proof?
Srimad Bhagavatam is out there with us, and Srila Prabhupada himself
Out
has
there where? Where is out there?
It is there at 10 places, at least 10 places. You want me to quote it? You want
I
me
want to know which canto it is.
Yes. Wait a second.
No, but what are you trying to say? No, I'm trying to understand. What are you trying to say? You're trying to say
He's saying now that the Bhagavatam is later than Buddha.
Yes,
think.
one second. Okay, for example, 7.10.49. Can you please open?
So now which
7:10
canto are you reading from?
Bhagavatam 7:10:49.
Yes, please.
Okay, 7:10:49. Okay,
So
7:10.
I'm more comfortable with 7 than 12 because I
7.
illustrated 7.
Okay, let's see. Hold on, let me share it. 1 second. Okay, hold on. Is this it?
yes. Even here you see in the original verse, in the Sanskrit, can you? Yes, you can please see here in the third line. Sorry, second line.
Nirvana.
Kaivalya, yes, Kaivalya Nirvana Sukhanubhuti means what they are trying to say. Both are same. The sukha means the pleasure you achieve when you attain nirvana or kaivalya is one and the same.
So how is nirvana translated of transcendental happiness?
Yes,
Nirvana sukha. Nirvana and Nirvana sukha are two different things. But nirvana means transcendental, sukha means happiness, right?
see, kaivalya in itself will convey that meaning for us. Kaivalya in itself is the transcendental happiness. They had to add this word nirvana also in that context because they were trying to equate the Buddhist and the Sanatana Dharma. They are not two different paradigms. They are one and the same. And that's what is being indicated here. So if you
But the
search for the
point
word
is,
nirvana in this
If
text,
this is the original words in the Srimad Bhagavatam, some canto, right?
Yes, this is
They
the original.
were introduced 5,000 years ago. So nirvana had to, if nirvana is in the original, then it is 5,000 years old, way before Buddha.
no, because none of the other Vedic textbooks will use the word nirvana. Only Srimad Bhagavatam is using. This indicates that it's a post-Buddhistic era stuff. And more importantly, the word nirvana is predominantly a Buddhistic word. And they claim that they invented
Well,
this
it
word.
became a Buddhistic word. How do you know it originated as a Buddhistic word?
Okay, that's why, I'm not presenting you one.
Lord Buddha was from a Kshatriya family.
Yes, we
So
do know
he
that.
was born in India.
Indeed.
Okay, no.
Yes.
So see, what is the point of this discussion? We're not getting anywhere. This is going around in circles.
Seems like he's trying to say that the Srimad Bhagavatam is not as old as we say it is.
And not
Okay.
just that, your problem, main importantly, you were saying the other day that we have one book, one God, but the Hindus have plethora of books, plethora of gods. So I'm just trying to indicate that the one book that you have in your hands is only a consequence of these hundreds of books. What book you have is a compendium, or what you call as a guide, as an abridged version.
Are you trying to justify that there are many, many gods?
No, what happens in an abridged version, like in a Cambridge dictionary, you have 10 volumes. From that 10 volumes, they have picked up the important ones and they have given it to you. For that reason, you cannot reject those 10 volumes. And whenever you have issues...
No. See, Kaushal Prabhu, you have to... What Prabhupada is saying here, that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Vedas, right? So, if it's...
But the Vedanta.
Okay, Vedanta. So what is wrong there?
No, I'm just that is perfectly fine. I'm just pointing it to you that the other day you were discussing, we just have one book and the Hindus have multiple books.
First of all, Hindus doesn't exist. If you talk about Sanatan Dharma, that is talked about in the Vedanta Sutra.
Yes.
And Srila Prabhupada and Vedavyas, they give a definite and very expansive definition of what is the goal of the human form of life, and then everything is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the great Srimad Bhagavatam for you, right?
Yes.
And that has been done. So if there's nothing wrong with it, what's the difficulty here? Did you find it offensive when we said the Hindus have so many gods?
So many books. That's what my problem was.
Oh, so many books.
Yes.
Well, yeah, Hindus have so many books because the Hindu books are not bona fide.
No, if you don't have these Vedanta books, where will your Srimad Bhagavatam come from? Right? The Srimad Bhagavatam that you are holding is coming only from
tell us, what is the origin of Vedanta books?
Yes.
Where did they come from? Who wrote the Vedanta books?
They are a consequence. They are an output of the Indian civilization.
Never mind that. Who wrote them?
No, it was not written by one single individual. It was written over time by many sages and saints.
Which time?
In the Vedic
From when
times.
to when?
Vedic
which first of all, which Yuga?
No, well, you may call it what you call as the pre-Dwapara Yuga, or what is called the times before Sri Ramachandra.
Treta, Dwapara, Kali.
Yes. Actually, these truths are eternal. These books, they come and they go. The truths have been captured in the Vedanta.
But who wrote them down?
Not one individual. There are a plethora of individuals.
For this age of Kali, there is only one author. His name is Veda Vyas.
No. To clarify, the very meaning of the word Vyasa is not author. The meaning of the word Vyasa is compiler. He's the one who divides. Vyasa means to separate. The meaning of the word in Sanskrit, to separate. So,
Veda Vyas then means separate the Vedas.
Yes, he's the one who separated. That's why he even put...
Okay, so whatever he wrote is what we accept in Kali Yuga. There's no need to go beating around different directions, looking under the sofa cushions and looking in the backyard and trying to look in the attic of the house to try to find out anything. Whatever Veda Vyasa gave us is what we're supposed to have.
Yes, that is perfectly fine. What I am saying is, Srimad Bhagavatam cannot come without the foundations of Vedanta. And if one last thing I would like to say is,
the Srimad Bhagavatam describes Krishna's pastimes.
That is perfectly fine. Even
so where does it need Vedanta to exist? If I'm taking a story about you when you're a little boy and then you grow up and now you're a man, why do I have to have some scripture to go by? That's just a history of Krishna's pastimes.
No, if I am, see, Krishna is actually professing a philosophy. Is professing.
What?
Yes, Krishna is professing the philosophy of Vedanta.
Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead.
That is fine. That is fair and fine. But just like what verse I quoted you from,
he is not derived from anything. He is the cause of all causes.
Yes, that I agree with. Now, a simple question. Now, the same Veda Vyasa wrote the Vedanta Sutras. In the Vedanta Sutra, the very first verse is Tato Brahma Jignasa. That means now we shall start our quest to understand the universe. And now, as an answer to that, is he providing Krishna as an answer? No, in the entire Vedanta Sutra, what are the sutras? The very meaning of the word sutra is formula. So he has listed out all the formulas. So is he mentioning Krishna anywhere there? No, he is not mentioning. So please.
The Srimad Bhagavatam is 100% about Krishna. From the first canto to all the other cantos.
No, that's why in the Vedanta Sutras, Veda Vyasa is not mentioning Krishna there. He is not even using the word Krishna. The whole philosophical truths he has compiled into one.
When you say Vedanta Sutra, where are these Vedanta Sutras right now?
Of course, we have these books published which were written by Veda Vyasa.
When were they published? And who published them?
They are
who is the Acharya who presented them to the world?
See, Madhvacharya has also commented on it. Srimad Ramanujacharya has also commented on it. We can see the Ramanujacharya's commentary for the same.
What has that got to do with us right now in the golden age of Kali?
No, this is what, if we understand from where the pulp is coming or where the juice is coming, which tree is sheltering us, then we will not be having any sectarian violence. Otherwise, sectarian
There's nothing
violence.
Sectarian. If you consider that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, as exactly as described in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, then you'll see Adi Purusha means the original person. Therefore, everything comes from Krishna. There's nothing more to be contemplated by that. Never mind how many, if it is Shankaracharya's teachings or Buddha's teachings, it doesn't matter. All we need to know is that Krishna, Isvara Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead.
And if you don't agree with that statement here of that, then, this is not our philosophy. Our philosophy is Krishna.
We're barking up different trees.
Yes. So if you don't understand that statement or you don't believe that statement, then it's no point in arguing with or trying to present anything to us.
In which case,
that's fine.
You shouldn't be presenting ideas that don't come from Prabhupada, okay?
Yes.
If you don't understand Prabhupada, you've come to the right place. If you want to understand Krishna consciousness philosophy, you've come to the right place. If you want to get involved in a very complicated thing that lands in a place where Krishna doesn't exist yet or something of that sort, then you've come to the wrong place. Because we don't do that. We don't think about it. We accept Prabhupada as he is, his teachings as it is, his Bhagavad-Gita is Bhagavad-Gita as it is, not Bhagavad-Gita as it is after the Vedanta Sutra finished eating it for lunch. No, it's the Bhagavad-Gita as it actually is right now.
Okay, so I'd like to ask Vinayak Prabhu to, he's been holding off his question. So Vinayak Prabhu and Shashi Kumar Prabhu, please, you unmute yourself and you want to say something. Can you make it short? We got about 8 minutes. Shashi Kumar Prabhu, you want to say something? Okay, he left.
Hopefully.
Okay, Vinayak Prabhu, your turn.
I think the word escaped the
Vinayak Prabhu, you ready or no? Okay, I guess he's not ready. All right, so
can he hear you?
Yeah, he can hear us. Yes. Okay. Shashi Kumar Prabhu, you want to say something? Go ahead. Unmute yourself and say it, Prabhu.
Prabhu, when there is a conversation between Achyuta Preksha and Madhvacharya. Achyuta Preksha was the teacher of Madhvacharya, spiritual master. Achyuta Preksha was concluding that Vedanta is the end part of the Vedas. But Madhvacharya said that, no, you are wrong. It is the summary of the Vedas. So, Brahma Sutras were written by Vedas, actually Vedavyas, and put commentary by Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya. So, whatever you read any commentaries of Madhvacharya and the Ramanujacharya and Brahma Sutras, they conclude Krishna or Vishnu is the ultimate truth. So, from the Brahma Sutra or from the Vedas, we have to conclude that Krishna or Vishnu is the ultimate truth. So, this is the. So, actually, if any other, actually Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya both concluded that.
Shashi Kumar Prabhu, 1 second. Is the Vedavyasa saying Krishna is the ultimate personality of Godhead there in the Vedanta Sutra? No. Wait a second. Please listen a second. Madhvacharya and Sri Ramanujacharya has casted Krishna upon Vedanta Sutra. Vedavyasa himself is not saying. Okay, thank you.
Do you know who is Guru of Madhvacharya?
No, Prabhu, I do not know. But
Vedavyasa himself is the teacher of Madhvacharya.
See, all this mythology, you please hold it for yourself. Madhvacharya is a 11th
Not
century.
mythology. It is a parampara.
Wait a second. Madhvacharya is a 11th century person. What Vedavyasa himself had to say.
Vedavyasa is still living. Vedavyasa is Chiranjeevi. Vedavyasa is one among the Sapta Chiranjeevi.
What Vedavyasa had to say, he has said it in the Vedanta Sutra. That's all I have got to say. Thank you very much.
I don't know.
Shashi Kumar Prabhu, do you want to end what you have to say? Go ahead, Prabhu. Shashi Kumar.
Prabhu, all we know that Madhvacharya is a student of Vedavyasa. That is what Brahma Sampradaya were coming from. So, actually, Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya both were when commenting on Vedanta Sutra. They say if Shiva or any other god is glorified in any Vedic part, it is not that god. If Shiva is glorified there, Shiva is the name of the Vishnu only. They are glorifying Vishnu only. It is not a god. The name of the Vishnu is glorifying there. So wherever any god, anything is concluded as the ultimate truth, that is Vishnu, no one else. That is not Shiva who is glorifying there. It's the name of Vishnu glorifying there. Shiva means all auspicious. Vishnu is all auspicious. So the name of Shiva is given by Vishnu. So Shiva is glorified there. If Kali is glorified, it is the potency of Vishnu is glorified there. So Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, everywhere they conclude that Krishna or Vishnu is the ultimate truth, no one else. That is why they wrote commentary.
Would you consider that this idea is Mayavada philosophy?
If you want, Prabhu, I have some PDF of Madhva Bhashya, Madhva commentary. If you have time.
Ramachandra, we need to get this sorted out. Otherwise, it makes the atmosphere less than congenial. We need to sort this out. You are knowing the answer, Prabhu?
No, his connection is breaking up. So his connection.
Maybe his batteries or his power to his headset is defective because it gets more crackly with time.
Shashi Kumar, you're back. Okay, it's not very clear when you speak what's going on. It's very crackling, and then it's not very clear. But we accept what you're saying, that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and whenever someone is being glorified in the Vedas, it is pointing directly to Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Yes,
like
Prabhu.
the Brahma Samhita is speaking about Krishna in different ways, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
It's
Yes,
pointing
Prabhu.
directly to
Yeah.
Krishna as
Yeah,
the
but the
Supreme.
Brahma Samhita, just Brahma
Yeah,
Samhita
Brahma
has the
Sutra.
most wonderful
Brahma Sutra.
shloka. Chintamani prakara sadmansur kalpa viksha vikshavaseshu
Yes.
surabhi abhyabhalyantam Lakshmi sahasrasata sambraman
Yes.
sedumanam govindam aripurusham
Yes.
samaham majami. So I would say that Brahma was in a position that nobody was talking about, and he said Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Krishna, the Supreme Personality, the original personality of Godhead, to him I offer my obeisances.
And the
Okay.
So
pain
what
is
is
that,
more to be said? We can't try to conflate Krishna into some part of some other piece of writing as though he didn't exist before then. He exists before the universe exists. So what
Yes.
is the use of making all of these comments about Krishna or the Vedanta Sutras, etc.? Where were the Vedanta Sutras before this universe was created? We want to know. I mean, did they exist? Vedanta Sutra existed before the universe? Where? Who had them? Who wrote them? The Vedanta Sutra before Govindam Varipurusham Dhamavach. We have to take into account that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, exists before the universe. In fact, Krishna expands as Baladev. Baladev expands as
We're at 10 o'clock,
Vasudeva.
so
Okay,
we're at 10 o'clock.
Expands it. Who cares? Vasudev expands as Mahavishnu. I mean, as three other Vishnus, they expand as Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu bubbles out universes. We're in those universes. Now we're trying to determine if Krishna existed before Vedanta Sutra.
Yeah. All this confusion arises when we start to mix and match all these different philosophies and understandings. This is the problem here, you know.
But anyhow, Prabhu, we have very much enjoyed your Bangalore katha, and thank you very much. I hope your good nature was not too upset by strange talks, and we will continue when you come back next.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So we'll continue
We
reading
welcome you
Bhaktivinoda
100,000%.
Thakur's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's essay or piece next session tomorrow. So we'll be on topic tomorrow.
Well, can he access it?
Yes.
Can you get it? How will he get it?
I told him to send me a message, so I'll send it to him. Prabhu, Sasi Kumar.
Okay, he'll send it to you. This statement by Thakur Bhaktivinoda is totally amazing because it eliminates mental speculation and simply says, instead of saying mental speculation is bad, which is our sort of Judeo-Christian way of looking at things, he says it's a natural, the mental speculation is a natural byproduct of spiritual information. From the katha it comes to people, and when people get it, they start adapting it until they finally end up enemies and even murdering each other.
Okay, let's not murder each other tonight.
No, not yet.
Okay, so thank you very much to all the devotees for joining.
Is your daughter still awake, do you think?
No, she's sleeping already, Prabhu.
That's nice. She's
It's
such
10
an
o'clock.
angel. Brilliant
Fine.
angel.
Thank you, Prabhus. Thank you for joining. Please join us tomorrow about 8 o'clock. We'll start, and then I'll make sure that everything that we discuss is regarding that paper for tomorrow.
Yeah, and Prabhu can read the paper in between and come to his own conclusions.
And then,
And also on that paper, I have a commentary too, somewhere at the bottom, I think, don't I?
yes.
So we can read that also and see. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhus. Thank you, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adi Purusham,
Jai.
the original person in existence.
Jai. Okay.